Obesity has affected about 14.4 million children and adolescents in 2017 and 2018 in Canada. For reference, that is the equivalent of 10,770 times the amount of students here at Agincourt Collegiate Institute. Childhood obesity has become prevalent within the past few decades. The rate of obesity has actually tripled since 1979. At some point, we have to stop and ask ourselves, why is this happening? What is causing children to take an interest in increasingly unhealthy diets? The real answer here lies in advertising. Advertising has actually impacted the way today's children see food because of their increased exposure to food marketing. The food industry is paying huge amounts of money to target children. In 2014, this industry spent $15 billion on all marketing, from small snacks to chain restaurants. Do you see how this is an issue? Food marketing is literally intentionally changing the way that children view food and has a strong correlation to the increasing rates of childhood obesity. To really understand this problem, we need to understand childhood obesity as a whole. What does a child's relationship with food look like? Oftentimes, the relationship that children have with food sticks with them as habits throughout their life. Children who face obesity at a young age don't even fully realize the harm in eating unhealthily. They view fast foods through rose-colored lenses, and one of the main causes of that is because of their exposure to advertising. When I was younger, I actually used to deal with obesity too. I ate horribly, and one day my doctor actually told me that I had to lose 20 pounds, and I remember I just laughed in her face. I didn't fully understand the negative effects of eating unhealthy foods until years later. And I feel like when you're a child, fast food does a really good job in gaining your trust because of how nicely it's portrayed in media. It's kind of seen as something fun, something exciting. But it's really the ultimate betrayal because we know now that it's nothing like that. So you see, food marketing becomes a problem when children are constantly bombarded with ads that glorify unhealthily, highly processed foods. Children see about 5 food and beverage ads each hour that they're watching TV, and 90% of these ads are for products high in salt, sugar, or fat. To really tackle childhood or even potential adulthood obesity, we need to start by addressing what causes people to have such a glorified perception of fast food to begin with. The key to fighting obesity really starts with addressing the advertising tactics that the food industry uses to lure kids and keep them consumers. So every single company relies on marketing. From the font of their logo to the theme colors, companies have always have a target market in mind when they're creating new products. And when it comes to marketing that targets children, you'll generally see that ads use bright colors, cartoon mascots, catchy slogans, and so on. Here, I have a Play-Doh ad. There are children who are playing with the product and visibly having fun. The colors are bright, the music is happy, even the Play-Doh font looks silly. On the product itself, we see bright colors and cartoon characters, so there is really no doubt that this brand targets children. Now let me show you another company that targets children. This is a Happy Meal ad. So the toys take up more space on this ad than the actual food itself. The box is even shaped to make a smile. All in all, appearance-wise, it looks very friendly and fun to a child compared to the regular plain brown food bags. This ad was actually from when Despicable Me 2 was first released. This is a fantastic marketing decision because children tend to obsess over new movies that they like. This is a psychological fact that children tend to be obsessive for short-lived periods of time. And their short-lived tendencies to obsess over new movies is met by McDonald's Happy Meals that change featured toys every 2 weeks to 1 month. They are actively utilizing the behaviors of children to trap these same children into wanting their product. The food that comes with the Happy Meal is also relatively simple, so even a picky child will like it. A child sees their favorite movie characters in toy form and finds out that it comes all for free along with chicken nuggets, a sweet drink, fries, and a little snack. It sounds like a win-win to them. This is literal perfection to a child. And that is what McDonald's is marketing here. False perfection. A highlight of when I was younger is when I would actually beg my parents to take me to McDonald's so I can get a Happy Meal, and most importantly, the toy that came with the Happy Meal. In grade 2, I had an almost complete collection of My Little Pony dolls that came from Happy Meals, which is definitely saying a lot about how healthy I was, but the reason I got Happy Meals was for the toy. But as I started eating more of them, I realized that I actually liked the food itself too. So even though I was only like 8 years old, McDonald's lured me into becoming a regular consumer of its food through toys. On top of the kids' menu, another influencing tactic is the actual atmosphere of a McDonald's restaurant. Apart from the dining area, there's a whole section of the restaurant that is dedicated entirely as a play place for children. It is colorful and looks huge to small children, and this really takes into account that children love to play. McDonald's also utilizes the fact that children are persistent. They nag their parents to get what they want, and so while every restaurant serves food, not every restaurant will have a play place. So whenever the child wants to eat out, they will continuously pester their parents to go to McDonald's. And once again, they are utilizing the behaviors and tendencies of children to their advantage. McDonald's knows that most parents will give in to their children at some point. This is a problem. When children view entire fast food joints as fun and happy places, they actually become attached to these places as a whole. And as a result, these children are at a higher risk of having unhealthy relationships with food because of their tendency to associate junk food with gratification. These types of mindsets are also really hard to reverse. When children become increasingly pleased with junk food, they consequently are also at a much higher risk of experiencing obesity. And children who experience obesity are also at a higher risk of being obese, experiencing health problems as adults. It's like a domino effect that is triggered by food advertising exposure as a child. Unfortunately, it seems like as technology advances, food advertising is getting more and more prevalent and hard to avoid. Today's children spend a little over 44 hours per week on the computer, television, and other electronic devices. Here in Canada, children have a screen time of almost 8 hours each day. Every single hour they spend on their screens, they are being exposed to a significant amount of food marketing. For example, television is unmistakably a huge source of food marketing that children may be exposed to on a daily basis. Food marketing takes up half of ad time on children's TV shows, and the vast majority of these food ads are for unhealthy foods. In contrast, 0% of this ad time is spent on fruit or vegetable advertising. Apart from the obvious sources of food marketing, did you know that even schools are practically breeding grounds for fast food advertising? Almost 3/4 of both elementary and middle school students view food marketing in their schools. This can come in the form of educational sponsored videos, indirect advertising such as promotions and school material, and food sale contracts with schools. Children these days never really seem to catch a break from food advertising. Directly and indirectly, fast food is marketed to them for hours each day with positive reinforcements. Children who are under 8 years old can't even process what persuasive content is. So while children are being fed into the idea that fast food is fun and gives people happiness, fast food is in fact putting positive emotional attachments that cause long-term psychological and physical harm to them. So food marketing is not only attracting children to fast food in the moment, but it is also making them addicted to fast food for life. There is a clear correlation between childhood obesity and exposure to food marketing. And in fact, there are studies that state obesity in kids increases for the longer that they watch television. So now we know all about the risks of food marketing that is targeted to children. These big companies spent billions of dollars just to alter children's perception of foods. It seems so out of reach that most people are aware of this issue, yet don't really do anything about it. So what can be done? Well, the biggest, most large-scale thing that you can do about this issue is to get in contact with actual government officials. It might seem like it's a long shot, but historically, marketing restrictions have been made in many cities and are shown to have several advantages. A notable example would be Quebec. For 30 years, they maintain a legislation that restricts food marketing for children under 13 years of age. Statistics confirm that following this legislation, there is a 13% reduction in the likelihood to purchase fast food in Quebec. In addition, Quebec also has the lowest child obesity rate in Canada and the highest rate of fruit and vegetable consumptions. If other cities can do it, then we should be able to as well. Speaking out is vital so that the government can also be aware of why child-targeted food marketing is a significant issue to act on. Something that is equally important that can be done is to have active, open conversations with children. And this is crucial because the psychology of children makes them really easy to be manipulated by marketing. Whether this be a parent, sibling, cousin, it is so important to communicate to children that fast food advertisements they're seeing don't actually display the full truth. While pointing out that fast food is not as amazing as fast food places makes it out to be, we should also do our best to show children the importance of eating healthy foods. Through cooking with children, going vegetable with children, and encouraging them to eat nutritious foods, children can discover fun in eating whole foods. At the same time, adults need to do their best to not give in to their children's cravings by taking them out to eat at fast food joints all the time. It is important to realize that parents can act as enablers to a child's unhealthy eating. And finally, perhaps the simplest way you can reduce the impact of food marketing on children is to limit your child's exposure to food marketing itself. It is especially important to do this for children below the age of 8 years old because they are not too cognizant of how advertising works as a whole. High screen time has many adverse effects, but one that isn't really talked about is the effect of food marketing to children. Television, website, games, and even schools are sources of food marketing that glamorize junk food and subconsciously make children build unhealthy eating habits. Action starts small scale with open conversations, creating restrictions on screen times, and can get to higher skills when talking about the importance of speaking up to government officials. Food marketing is deceptive to children and has the intent of making children fast food addicts and regular future consumers. If action isn't taken, the rates of childhood obesity will just continue to rise. What child deserves to gain harmful eating patterns as a result of watching TV? Thank you.